Welcome to Something Extra, a show that was designed for you to learn more about people with Down syndrome. I am your host, Maria Sivertson. We are celebrating Autism Awareness Month. Today, you will meet a parent who is a child with a dual diagnosis and two representatives from organizations that provide much-needed support to our community. Welcome to the show. I am here with Beth Thompson from Milestones. Hi, Beth.
Hello, Maria.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am the program director for Milestones Autism Resources. I'm a licensed social worker, and my specialty in the autism realm is transition to adulthood.
And April is Autism Awareness Month, but we'll get to that later. First, tell us, what is autism?
Autism is a neurological developmental disorder. So developmental meaning it occurs before the age of 3 and it's lifelong, and neurological meaning it impacts every area of the brain.
Okay. And are there any warning signs for autism?
Yeah, so when children are little, in baby, toddler, little childhood, if parents start seeing them not hitting developmental milestones, not communicating through gestures to denote what they want, playing with their toys in maybe an unusual way, like lining them up, or having real difficulty when things change, maybe even using different utensils. Maybe there's a lot of behaviors around that. Those are all really great indicators that maybe there's a neurological developmental disability.
And what do you suggest parents do if they see any of these signs?
Parents should really talk to their pediatricians, their primary care team, to let them know what they're witnessing. Take video so you can show that pediatrician what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. And if you already have an educational support team, whether you have an IEP or a 504 or not, tell that team, I think I'm seeing some signs of autism.
Mm-hmm. And people have been diagnosed with autism at all ages, correct?
Yes, even though we're born with autism, we can be diagnosed throughout the lifespan. Mm-hmm. Right now, Milestones actually has the largest increase of adults seeking diagnosis.
How did Milestones get started?
We were actually founded by two parents who met in a therapeutic office. They both had autistic children. They were both seeking the best evidence-based services possible. They were reaching out beyond Ohio and realized other parents needed that too. So 20 years ago, they threw the first autism conference in our region, and 400 people showed up, and they recognized it was a need in the community. So we're really fortunate that we're having our 20th anniversary this June.
Oh, congratulations. And what type of services do you guys offer?
Milestones isn't a traditional direct service provider. We really exist to provide education to any professional, any community member that's going to come into contact with autistic individuals or their caregivers, their loved ones, make sure they're really well trained, and then connect those individuals to our families. So Milestones has a free autism help desk that anyone can call and say, I need a blank, I need a developmental pediatrician, I need someplace I can take my kid for hair cutting services that understand sensory needs. We're going to connect them with vetted resources in the community that we have trained. And to make sure that we are really servicing the whole community, we have a Spanish help desk as well. So I encourage families to call.
Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of families in our community that have a child with a dual diagnosis. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, dual diagnosis means that they not only have a developmental disability like autism, they can also carry the dual identity of having Down syndrome. And that just means that they have two recurring disabilities that may impact or may even mimic each other.
Mm-hmm. And Desanio is one of the nonprofits that you partner with. What have we done together?
Yeah, Milestones is really fortunate to have the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio within our regional community. For the past 3 years during pandemic, we've been working with DODD, the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, under a grant called Ohio Family Network. And the DSACO, the Downs Association in Columbus, has been one of our partners in leading the way in educating our families about charting the life course, which is a new curriculum.
I attended that. Yeah, I did.
New philosophy coming out that's going to impact our individual service plans, our IEPs. So really grateful that we have such a strong partner in them.
Okay. And what's coming up for Milestones?
We have our 20th conference.
It's so exciting.
I know, it's going to be all virtual this year to increase accessibility.
Okay.
It's June 14th and 15th. We have over 100 sessions, CEUs for almost every type of professional that serve the community, a whole track just for family and caregivers, and a whole track for autistic individuals themselves. And we have financial scholarships available for anyone that wants to attend.
What are these financial scholarships for?
So if an autistic individual can't meet the price that as at the conference for a professional who's seeking CEUs, we don't want to deter that.
Oh, good.
You know, for them to get the information that's going to help them grow in their advocacy, their independence, or maybe it's a paraprofessional that doesn't make a high wage that needs this education. We will provide financial scholarships so they can attend the conference that's not a detriment to their own financial situation.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, April is Autism Awareness Month. What does Milestones do to celebrate this?
Milestones actually made the move a few years ago to shift from, as opposed to awareness or acceptance, to appreciation.
Oh, okay.
We really think that we've come a really long way in the autism community, and Milestones' goal is to highlight the unique abilities and the unique gifts that autistic and neurodiverse individuals bring to our community, not just to be aware of them, not just to accept them, but to truly appreciate what they give to our community.
Oh, that's nice. That should be done. And Beth, if someone wants to contact you about anything else, about their child or Milestones, how can they do this?
They can go to milestones.org. All of our services are listed there, as well as staff. And you can also reach out to us on any of the social media platforms, and the staff will get back to you. We have Facebook and LinkedIn and all those good social media platforms, but I would start with milestones.org.
Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We will be right back with a parent who's a child with a dual diagnosis. Welcome back. I am here with my friend Rosa. Rosa, can you introduce yourself?
I am Rosa Ortiz-Lane, and I have a child with Down syndrome.
And when did you receive the Down syndrome diagnosis for Tommy?
When I was 14 weeks pregnant, he was a prenatal diagnosed.
And did you receive another diagnosis as well?
No, during the first 3 years of his life. He was developing really good. We were happy the way everything was going with him. But then, when he was 3 years old, he got really sick with RSV. And then from there, it went to really bad that he ended in the ICU and he had to be sedated. When he woke up from the sedation, I noticed something different. He wasn't looking at me. He was more like he was lost. And then I realized he couldn't walk and he couldn't sit. So that was happening right at the hospital, so I requested physical therapy right away. What we didn't know after that, we will see more regressions the weeks after, the month after, and then that led me to start looking for answers why he was regressing. And that's why we went referred to a neurologist that actually diagnosed him with autism.
Okay, and so Tommy has what we call a dual diagnosis. So he was diagnosed with autism and Down syndrome. Tell us a little bit more about that, what a dual diagnosis means.
Well, a dual diagnosis in our community means that you have autism and Down syndrome. And other people prefer to call it coexisting condition, but really, if you say dual diagnosis, even the medical community, they know what you're referring to. So for me, it's easier to say dual diagnosis. And if I had to choose What is his primary diagnosis? Definitely autism, because it's what is really affecting him more developmentally.
So how has it impacted your family?
Well, we went from few therapies a week to now I think he's receiving about 40 hours of therapy a week now.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot. And we do a lot of also that is not covered by insurance. It's more like a holistic approach, and it's helping, but it's a lot.
And his milestones, how has all that been affected? Development.
He was progressing, like, yeah, there were like right on track milestones. We were happy. Milestones were delayed, like when he started to work at 24 months old. He was 24 months old. So that was pretty much okay because he had Down syndrome. We were expecting that. He actually started to recognizing his name, responding to his name when he was turning 4 months old, which is very early even for a typical child. And then we were happy. He was doing good. When our autism came, development stopped. His milestones started really hard for him to accomplish milestones. And then what we were start seeing was he was losing the skills. He lost all his communication skills. Even he was doing few signs, he lost everything. So it's different than just having Down syndrome.
So you were basically starting over.
Yes.
Yes. What did you do?
Well, at that time it was crazy. I was pregnant with my second child. So it was hard because I didn't know what to do. So I decided, okay, I have to my second child, and then after having, I will start looking for answers. So while I was in maternity leave, I started looking for like, okay, what's the problem? So that's when we went to a therapy place that what they do is more sensory integrated intervention, and that's when they told me, we think he has something else. And that's when we discovered that he has some gut issues, and he got referred to a nutritionist, which really, really helped.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things, like he was hitting himself. So that's when I started looking, okay, let's go look into nutrition. Let's go to look more into the holistic part, because I need to see what's happening, because I don't want to let him to go this way until he's an adult, because I won't be able to control him. So then the nutritionist said, like, well, let's try to do a neurotransmitter treatment that we can do as supplements and nutrition, and that will help to regulate his sensory system, and it worked. A year later, he wasn't hitting himself or anything, and up to today, he's not doing any of that. So nutrition has been really, really key for him.
And that's what you think
yes.
helped?
Yes.
Tommy.
Because I think after that, I started to like, okay, nutrition is my main intervention, and he really doesn't get sick much. He has some diagnosis related to Down syndrome, but it's not as expected, like the bunch of diagnoses and everything. I think it's easier to handle.
Well, you know what? Tell us about Tommy.
Well,
besides his diagnosis, tell us a little bit about him.
He's a funny guy. He turns 15 last week. And he goes to a therapy center. He doesn't go to the regular school. And they address all his needs more like, it's like educational, like therapeutic educational approach. So everything they do is therapy involved, but at the same time, they are teaching him. So I feel this is working for him better because address his needs more than being in a classroom setting, because he's just with another child, and then he goes to like classes with other groups, but the classes are small. And they try that he participate, and now he's in a social group, and he is becoming the star in the social group, which is good to see, because the social part got really affected. That was one of the things that we really saw right away. He was very social without the autism diagnosis. When the autism diagnosis came, he completely immersed in his own world. He wasn't even smiling. So it was really hard to watch. But now it's a completely different child. He enjoys to go to the social class. And he's becoming, and even during the pandemic, that's when I was able also to observe him, because we took him out, but it's still the therapy center, I think it was a couple of months that they opened, and they had kids coming to the center, so there was a small group, and still he was participating through telehealth. And it was so cute to see him responding, because before he didn't want it to be around people, around anybody.
And he does other social activities outside of school?
Right now, because we are like, so much, we just go home, just eat, rest a little bit, and go back to sleep. So now that's what I am trying to look for, other things, which actually is, I want to start him in the cooking with confidence, with
with Desanio.
Yeah, with Desanio, because I think that's something I can do right after we go from work with him.
So Desanio has helped you?
Oh yes, a lot. And then one of the things I really love is the Mom's Night Out. I think that has helped me to connect with other moms. And still, once in a while, if I something, like with you, I just text you something happened, or ask you questions, or Lori. Yeah.
And so we're celebrating April, which is Autism Awareness Month. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think it's a window where other people can see for what we go through, and that we can really realize that as a society we really need to come together, even when you don't have a child with autism, and do something. Because the amount of kids that are being diagnosed is becoming, for me, like an stampede. Because now I am having even therapists that are helping Tommy, because they are younger and they are just starting their family. Their kids are being diagnosed with autism.
Right.
And I am knowing so many people around me. And before, when Tommy received the diagnosis, I just knew a neighbor, and I think that's it. Now I am everywhere. Someone has someone that has autism. So I think as a society we need to really look into what is causing this, what other treatment we can provide for them, because ABA helps, or TPT, all these things help, but it's not the ultimate answer. We don't have a real treatment. Okay, this is the treatment, and it will completely improve. We don't have that. There are kids that they are trying all these things, and it's hard to get them wherever they are.
Well, it's so good to hear that Tommy is thriving and doing well.
Oh, thank
What
you.
are your hopes and dreams for him?
Well, I have big hopes and dreams for him. I want him to be an entrepreneur. And this idea came because of Desanio, the entrepreneurship program that Desanio has. So I already started my plan. I already have some ideas on products he can do, and some things, because I am a graphic designer, some things I can do to help him. And I actually will already have the logo, we have the name of the company. We registered the company already. I just have to do the website and start launching it and see what happens.
Well, I can't wait to see
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Rosa.
Oh, thank you, Maria, for having me.
We will be right back with Doug Blecher from Autism Personal Coach.
Hi, I'm Allie. At age 2, my parents knew that there was something different about me. They were told that my life would not be typical. But Autism Society of America was there to help through all of my journeys. Help make a difference and make a donation. Go to autismsociety.org.
Welcome back. I'm here with Doug Blecher. Doug, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Doug Blecher. I'm the founder of Autism Personal Coach. I founded our organization 10 years ago when there was understanding there was a lack of support for autistic teens and adults, and we provide them coaching to live independent and self-sufficient lives.
And what did you do before you founded Autism Personal Coach?
So prior to that, I was working with autistic children for about 10 years in the home and in the community. And then one day it kind of hit me like, what happens when they become teens and adults? And right around that time, a local chapter of the Autism Society had contacted me to facilitate a group for autistic adults. And I did that for about 3 years. Loved every minute of it and learned a lot from the adults. And what I learned was that they need support in the home and the community. And then that led me to starting Autism Personal Coach to help them improve the quality of their lives.
Mm-hmm. And on your website, you mentioned neurodiversity. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
what is that?
So I think it's a shift in mindset. You know, so often neurodivergent people with brain differences, so much of the focus is on their challenges. But what we try to do by celebrating neurodiversity, it's the shift to thinking more about their positive aspects and their strengths. And what we've seen in these last 10 years is when you do that, some wonderful things can happen to them in their lives.
So you serve people with autism, and what you do at your organization is you match them with a coach?
Correct.
Okay, what is a coach?
So what our coaches do, we presently have 15 coaches. We are a guide. We are a guide to our clients, and we use their expertise about their lived experience to help guide them. And we do that by developing a plan and helping them to follow through with the plan. Now, our clients come to us with lots of different needs and goals. So sometimes it's relating to employment. Sometimes it's relating to developing community. Sometimes it's relating to executive functioning skills, things like planning, organizing, remembering stuff, decision making. Probably with every single one of our clients, we're helping them with self-advocacy in one way or another. So we kind of develop a plan based on those goals and help them to improve the quality of their lives.
So those are some of the challenges that people with autism face. What else does APC do to help them guide them through these challenges?
Yeah, so in addition to our individual coaching, we have group coaching that happens on a monthly basis to help them to develop community. And then we also have what I think is a great educational piece is I host a podcast called Autism Stories, which is every Monday and Thursday, in which I interview autistic people to learn from their stories, experiences, and get their valuable insights.
And where can someone find this podcast?
Wherever you access podcasts, you can find it on Apple, Spotify. You can go to our website, autismpersonalcoach.com, and you can find it there as well. We currently have done, I think, over 230 episodes.
In our community, the Down syndrome community, we have a lot of families that have the dual diagnosis. They have a child with autism, and they're also have Down syndrome. Would this benefit them?
Absolutely. So I think no matter what client we work with, we always kind of meet them where we are. We meet them where they are in terms of their communication, their sensory needs, their executive functioning needs, and kind of plan and help them to develop tools and strategies to kind of work through those things. But I think it's also important to know that whenever you have a client that is autistic, there's also almost always co-occurring conditions. And then Down syndrome is certainly one of those co-occurring conditions. And I'd say whenever we've had autistic people that have Down syndrome, I think we've done a really nice job in helping them to develop community.
That's nice. It's good to hear. So do you have anything coming up in the next few months?
We do. So this every spring we have it's a 7-week program where it trains autistic people to either walk or run in a 5K. So after those 7 weeks, we go into the community and we participate in a 5K. It's myself and 2 other fantastic coaches, and I think it's a great opportunity, especially getting through this Cleveland winter, and then get out there and to walk or run. And there's so many benefits we see that people have from that program.
So you just pick any walk that's going on?
No, it has to.
It has to do with autism?
No, it doesn't have to do with autism. Like for example, the 5K race that we're going to be doing will be in Edgewater Park. And it's like relating to, for a charity to benefit dogs. And so many of our clients love animals anyway, so it's just kind of a natural fit.
Oh, that seems nice. Okay, and what do you hope that your organization hopes to accomplish in the future?
So much like when we started, I had the mindset like, I hope Autism Personal Coach gives people that feel like they need that additional support in their lives, an opportunity to get that coaching. So I think we just want to continue in the future to be a place to give that support. And then thinking big picture, I hope that when people think about support for teens and adults in the future, that Autism Personal Coach is one of the first things that comes to their mind.
And Doug, one last thing, can you tell us or tell the viewers where they can reach you?
Well, it's very easy to reach me. You can email me at doug.blecher@autismpersonalcoach.com. I always get back to you within 24 hours. Or you can call our business phone number at 216-336-5889. Or if you don't want to email or call, you can just check out our website, autismpersonalcoach.com, for more information.
Or listen to your podcast.
Please listen to our podcast. We have some amazing people.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you for celebrating Autism Awareness Month with us. We will see you next month.